Hello and welcome back to the channel. I've been learning to use Blender and using Blender to 3D model things like this big chunk of resin that I printed. But that big chunk of resin isn't just a chunk of resin. I'm going to be completely building and painting up this giant anime and sci-fi inspired orbital laser. So I've modeled up all of these things in Blender and I've printed them out and even given them some primer. I'm really happy with how all these came out. There's a ton of little details and little things that we can paint up and add a whole bunch of really nice detail to through painting and highlight washing and all of that. As well, we also have the laser piece itself, which the entire model will be supported by, and it was printed in this very nice red resin that really came out very well. And then we're even going to be adding some LEDs into the stand that will light that laser up and really make it look like something cool, something really out of an anime or a TV show, something like that. So let's get all these things pulled back together and get right into painting it. So starting off with all these panels here, I'm going to be coating a lot of these pieces in just a kind of generic dark gray that really will fill up and just kind of serve as a really nice base background color that we can add a lot more hand painted details as well as weathering stuff to later on. Then for the main hull of the satellite, I'm going to be mixing this Tamiya pale blue and some sky gray, and this really makes this nice kind of washed out, toned down blue color that I think works really nice and really gives it that kind of 80s aesthetic that I'm going for in this build. And with that all painted up, we're going to move on to doing the solar panels, which I'm going to be using this Alclad Chrome 2.0 lacquer paint, which really adds this nice bright reflective look to the solar panels. Then I'll be spraying over all of that with this Tamiya clear blue, and that will really add to a solar panel effect that really looks like it's a glass over top of some of the photovoltaic solar panels that are generally used. And it really turned out well. It really looks like these are solar panels, and they really do also fit into that 80s anime or hand-drawn style that this entire build is going for. Then we're going to move on to painting up some of the other details, like painting on all of the blacked out areas and darker areas, as well as coloring in kind of those inside areas that I just want to be black and not really noticeable, not really visible, because they don't really have any major detail on them or anything that I really want to show. Then after that, I'm going to start using some little stencils. These are just pieces of paper I printed out with a design on them and then cut out and taped onto the satellite's hull. Now, I really wanted to kind of add just some interesting little details, so I added some little nice marking numbers to the sides of it, as well as that radioactive nuclear symbol, just because a giant death laser probably should have some kind of warning symbol on it. And then we're going to move on to painting and kind of touching up the laser portion. Now, I didn't want this to just stay all completely red. I wanted to have a little bit more detail and interest to it. So I'm spraying it and kind of dusting it with this black coat of paint, really light, still letting the see-throughness and the dark red still show through, but just making it a little bit more interesting to look at. And then I'm going to also kind of dust some of the other panels with this nice light red color, and that'll really make it look like the laser is lighting up and kind of casting its bright color onto the other pieces. After that, we're on to hand painting a lot of these little details and kind of these raised things, just to kind of highlight them and really bring them out. And I just did this simply with some nice acrylic colors. You can see assorted brands, assorted types, just whatever I had laying around to add some difference and interesting colors and details to this build. Then, with all of those little details and highlights put in, and a coat of matte clear coat put over it, I'm going to be washing with some of my AK favorite washes and adding some panel line and panel accent colors from Tamiya. I really like these. They're a really simple way to add detail to panels and everything. So you just shake them up and kind of put them on all over top of the model, just letting the thinness of them spread across, and then once they've kind of dried a bit, taking a Q-tip and washing them off. And then for the AK washes, how I like to do this, I'll just take streaking grime and kind of coat in bigger areas where I want everything, splashing it and pushing it into a ton of little details, coating all of it, really not really caring where it goes, just getting it basically everywhere and all over all the details I want to. And then once it's dried a bit, taking a brush with some thinner and really brushing it out, spreading out all of the streaking grime and washes, just so it gives the whole surface this dirty, messed up, very used look to it. Just covering it all, making it look great. Well, I glue up all of the last pieces and the laser to the wooden base that I made for this. I want to say this entire model and this entire design will be available on my Cults 3D page for purchase. It goes together very well, it comes fully pre-supported, And instead of having to make your own wooden base, I've designed one that you can 3D print out for yourself as well, that is designed to perfectly fit in. All of it goes together and glues well, and once glued onto the base, the laser will fully support the weight of the satellite, and it'll all balance, looking like it's just floating there with that laser. So, with everything now fully glued together, let's assemble it. So, I want to thank you for watching this video, watching till the end and seeing how this amazing kit and this amazing build came out. I'm really happy with it. Once again, if you want to go and build it for yourself and print it out all yourself, it'll be on my Cults 3D page, which you can find down in the description. Or, if you just like watching these build videos, like and subscribe, it really helps out the channel, and I'll be doing much more builds like this and different ones in the future, as well as you can check out some of the previous builds I've done. But until then, since this is uploaded on Christmas Eve, happy holidays, and have a great new year, and I'll see you in the next one.